So today we're going to talk about trauma and how to cope with your trauma. So what is trauma? Trauma is what happens when extremely disturbing or distressful events happens in your life and it shatters your sense of security and safety. Now, trauma is not limited to physical events such as car accidents or natural disasters, but also it can be a repeated exposure to negative events such as growing up in a toxic household where there was emotional, mental, verbal, sexual, physical abuse, or even domestic violence. So, trauma isn't what happens to you, but what happens inside of you as a result of what happened. And this is a statement that Gabor Mate, a renowned psychiatrist, always says that trauma isn't what happens to you, but it is what happens inside of you as a result of what happened. So, what do we mean by this? It is the feelings that you are left with after that incident occurs. So, maybe it leaves you feeling unsafe, it leaves you feeling unsure, it leaves you feeling insecure, it leaves you feeling unwanted, betrayed, rejected, and also many uncomfortable feelings. So, what's the science of how trauma affects the body? So, when trauma happens, it activates your stress response inside of the body, and this activates the sympathetic nervous system, which produces cortisol and adrenaline. And when these things are produced, and when it happens, when this stress response happens frequently, it causes you to be unable to relax, and it triggers a lot of physical symptoms, physical symptoms of anxiety. Your body cannot relax, your heart is racing, you're always looking out for danger, which is called hypervigilancy, where you're looking for danger even when there really isn't any danger. Now, for healing to happen, the parasympathetic nervous system should be activated. The parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for relaxation, and it can help the body to relax and to recover after trauma. So, what do you need after trauma? One thing that we should realize is that trauma isn't like a physical injury or wound that heals itself over time. So, this will not happen with trauma. Trauma needs you to be intentional and actively mindful of getting over it and overcoming the trauma. You need to consciously work on overcoming your trauma. So, what do you need to be able to do this? First and foremost, talking, talking, talking. I cannot insist that enough. So, talking to a mental health care professional like a psychologist or psychiatrist will really help you to make sense of what happened, to help you to understand a lot of things, how you responded, why you responded the way you responded after it happened, and how to prevent that from happening in the first place. Another thing that is going to help you is joining mental health chats. You can join online mental health chats where you can talk about your trauma. And the good thing about this mental health chats is that it's anonymous. So nobody knows anybody and your conversations will not be recorded. And this mental health chats will help you to find our supportive community where people are sharing their lived experiences with trauma, and this will help you to feel like a sense of belonging and validation, and also find some clarity through those shared stories, and this will help you to heal. Another thing is finding activities that you love to do. So, what did you love to do as a child? Was it singing? Was it drawing? Was it making art? Was it making music? Was it dancing? Was it crocheting? Anything that was bringing you the most joy, anything that makes you feel alive, do that, because that is actively helping you to heal from the trauma. Another thing is finding activities that help to ground you, and this can look differently for different people. There are so many coping skills. Some of them are meditation, practicing mindfulness, going out in nature and taking walks in nature, breathing exercises. There's so many grounding activities that you can do, and I will do a video on that. Another thing is to focus on forgiving yourself. Now, I know in your healing journey, you will find a lot of people telling you to forgive your abuser, that it takes the poison away from them, and away from you. And I know that that might make sense to them because probably they don't even understand the magnitude of the pain that it left you with. But what I insist is focusing on forgiving yourself first and foremost, before anything else, before anyone else. Because when you forgive, because what happens when you focus on forgiving the abuser is that you're putting the abuser at the center of your life. And this is what Dr. Ramani, a psychologist who talks about narcissistic abuse, she says that when you focus on forgiving the abuser, is that you're putting them at the center of your life. And with healing and recovery, we are trying to shift that focus towards yourself, that you didn't deserve to go through what you went through, that wasn't supposed to happen, that wasn't normal. The focus is on you. So you should focus on healing yourself first, because healing yourself will help you to understand that what happened wasn't normal. It wasn't supposed to happen. You didn't deserve to go through that. And it will help you to also release the guilt and the shame of that you could do anything differently, because you couldn't do anything differently. Maybe you're only a child at that time. Maybe there were some circumstances that were holding you back from not walking away from your abuser. And that is very much understandable. There was nothing possibly you could have done differently. So with focusing on forgiving yourself, it helps you to release the guilt, to release the shame, to find meaning once again in your life, and to know that there is nothing wrong with you. And think about it this way: does the abuser want to change? Is the abuser bettering themselves, or do they even know that they have a problem? Most likely, they may not even be aware that they have a problem in the first place, and they may not even be actively working on themselves. But the fact that you're watching this video and you've watched till this point is that you are bettering yourself. It shows that you're bettering yourself, you're working on yourself, you're trying to become better. So what we're going to do is to focus on forgiving yourself. That is the most important thing. So if this video resonated with you, or if you're in your healing journey from trauma, please share your experience in the comments. I would like to engage with you and see what experiences that you've been having with healing, or if you're not healing right now, what is it that you need? Please share your thoughts and comments with me. So until next time, goodbye.